let's see who's on here. It's going to be an interesting episode. Let's go, my peeps. Welcome to another episode of Earthworks Hub Live, the only hub your missus will want you to watch. I'm your host, Ivan Orlovic. These are our Sunday live sessions. So we're going to do things a little bit different tonight. Usually I just babble on and talk about what I've done during the week, go through a topic and then open up to you guys. But today I'm changing it up a little bit. I'm going to have a guest come on and join me as well. So about halfway through, I'll have a guest come on and I'll leave it as a bit of a mystery until a bit later on. So you've got something to look forward to. But I will have a guest on here, somebody that's in the earthworks industry, and a lot of you will know this person, so you will want to hang around for that. So I'll go through my week very, very quickly, and then I will go through my topic, and I'm sure you'll enjoy this topic as well. It affects all of us. And we'll go through and talk to the guest. Now, don't forget, all these episodes are recorded, so even though they're live, I record them and I do post them up. So they go up on my YouTube channel. So they go up on YouTube podcast as just an audio, but they also go up on my YouTube videos, and I upload them with the video content as well. So they're two separate things. Some people have asked me how come they're only getting audio. That's because they've clicked on the little the widget with the podcast written on it instead of a photo of us interviewing. So you got to make sure you pick, if you want to see video, pick the little the link with the picture of me rather than the one that just says podcast on it. You'll see what I mean if you go onto my YouTube. And these also go up onto Spotify, Apple, and I also do post little snippets of this on Instagram and TikTok. So keep an eye out for those things. And you can also go to my website, www.earthworkshub.com.au, if you want to see any more information on that stuff. And all the links are there. Quick shout out to all my sponsors. So I have to read them out. Like I said last time, I'm getting so many now. One of them is Godings. So also Network Finance, Bole Group, Melbourne Tractors, Spartan Machinery, Nexgen Landscapes, JR Safety Code, Diggerlid, and Digga. So thanks to all my partners, sponsors. Diggerlid have actually given me an affiliate code now, so I'll have a discount code available for people. So that'll be posted up very shortly. So you can go in and you get a discount on certain items in their store. Jack Healy saying stubby holders in Prime Posse. I hope you like that. That little see up there, the stubby holders there from EMBE. Thank you for that. All right. Quick project update. So Project Spalding, I feel like I haven't been in the machine for weeks. I haven't touched an excavator for at least 4 weeks, I reckon. Between going to Brisbane, then go and working on Project Spalding, building the factory, I haven't really sat in the machine. Sort of losing my touch a bit. But I have been working on the Project Spalding very, very hard, working solid on it, trying to finish that so I can get it and rent it out to someone. So if anyone is thinking about renting a warehouse, hit me up. It's in North Sunshine in Melbourne. That will be coming up ready for hire or for rent in a few months. So 420 square meters. So if you're interested in something like that, close to the freeway, 6 car parks, roller door, all that stuff, mezzanine office. So in a couple of months, that'll be up ready for rent. So hit me up if you're looking at renting a warehouse. So yeah, the last few windows have got to go in. The stairs were installed the other day. I'm going to post up a picture of that. The stairs look amazing. I had to put a clear coat on them, and they look almost like something you see in a mansion. They're probably too nice to walk on. So that's there. Post this week, you would have seen that I received my hard hat watch. So these watches are made specifically for tradies. Very, very solid. I've put out a video with all that information. I won't redo it again, but thank you very much to Hard Hat Watches for this, and I've even put my little logo on there, so you can do that as well. And yeah, it's been raining a lot in Melbourne, so even if I did want to work on the machine, it would have been very, very hard to work this week. My hat goes off to everyone that's still out there battling with the mud and the rain. It's been freezing and also wet, so hopefully the weather starts to get a little bit better, but that has also affected me not being able to work in the machine. I was laughing. I went to get some food today and I saw those people putting plastic bottles in those little recycling places. You know how you can get paid for putting plastic bottles in there now? And I was thinking, man, I used to tease those people. I think I'm going to be one of them soon. the way it's going. I'm gonna have to start cracking the whip on the old work ethics. All right, so and I also put out a post looking for a couple of specific guests. So I really want to talk to someone that's in traffic management, just to hear their stories, so to hear about things that they encounter and experiences they have. So I want to talk to a traffic control company or someone that's in traffic control. A plant hire agency would be really good. I had a few lined up, and then they've sort of pulled the pin in the last minute. And also like a low loader or float company, just to talk about some of the things that they go through. I'm sure they have a lot of stories they can share with us. So I'd love to get somebody from like one of those float companies on as well. And I also posted up my completion of a little Lego dozer, which I don't know if you can see that. It's up in the far corner there. But Spartan Machinery gave me one of their, like a little Lego, a Chinese version of Lego, a dozer, and I built that up as well. So my son helped me out, and we got it done. So that is my week in a nutshell. So I'm sort of hammering through a bit because I'm going to go through my topic, and I still want to talk to this guest, which I'm really keen. So my topic today, and I suppose being not working as much recently has really made me think about this, and also the fact that I'm constantly battling myself or stopping myself from buying like a new ute and stuff. Like I've got an old Mitsubishi Triton, 2014 I think it is, and I'm constantly battling myself on whether to upgrade or not. And I've got all these cars I look at. They're all like over 100 grand. So sometimes I think I'm kidding myself. But my topic today is I'm going to give you a couple of steps on how to stop yourself from buying unnecessary items or unnecessary things. Because sometimes we think we need something, and then we go out and spend the money, and then later on we regret it, and we say, don't buy it. And Terrapro agrees. He's saying don't do it. And that's what I thought about. See, someone's writing about the Ford Raptors, which is exactly one of the ones I was looking at. And then I start to sit back and think, you know what? Why do I really need it? Do I need that? So let me go through a couple of things. So I'm going to talk about this, I suppose, business-wise, but it can relate to personal things. So do you need to buy something for your business, or do you need to buy something for your personal use? You can take these points on either way, yeah? So like I said, how often do you buy something and then wonder later on, did you really need that? So for business owners in particular, I mean, as a business owner myself, I know what happens. Sometimes we look at our bank and we get like a lump sum of money because we get paid like monthly or 60 days or whatever. You suddenly end up with this big lump sum in your bank account, and you start to think, wow, what can I start buying with this? You know it's all going to go to bills and that shortly, but you start thinking, you know what, I need to buy something I can upgrade. I can upgrade my car. I can get another machine. I can buy a new truck. Maybe I could put a few more guys on. I've got some more money now. And then you get tempted to start buying things. And then you also think, well, I work hard, so why can't I reward myself a bit? Why can't I go and just buy myself a nice car so I can sit in a nice, clean ute and drive to work every day? You know, why can every other Tom, Dick and Harry do it? So you start to get all these things in your head as a business owner. And then you get people feeding you. They're saying, oh, you could just buy it, man. You just claim it on tax anyway. Yeah, you can claim it, or you can save tax. So when you think about it, do you really need to spend that money to save that little bit of tax? So you might have 100 grand tax bill. So your accountant might say at your pre-tax meeting, all right, listen, you're going to pay 100 grand tax. And then you start and you think, oh, maybe I'll buy a new car. So then you go and buy a $100,000 car to save yourself 10 grand in tax. So then not only do you have a $90,000 bill at the end of it for tax, or even 80, then you've got this 100 grand car that you got to pay off as well. So sometimes it doesn't make sense. So and I don't like it when a lot of people that aren't in business try and say to me like, hey, don't worry, you just claim it on your business, man. You're gonna claim it anyway. But you got to come up with that money. People don't understand. You still got to come up with the funds. You can't just buy something if you don't need it, and it's not going to mysteriously just get paid for. You've got to come up with that money. So I'm hoping people here can resonate with me. I can see a lot of likes on TikTok, so hopefully that means people are resonating. And then I suppose the other thing is, unless you're making mega bucks and your accountant actually says to you, hey, listen, you've really got to go and spend some money, then maybe, yes, you can go buy something. And I'm not saying don't reward yourself, but sometimes think about also your options. Like, why are you really doing it? Why do I need that $200,000 ute when I can really just have a 60 grand ute with all the same features, and it'll do the job. Or like in my case, why can't I just keep driving my Trident, which is going to get scratched and I'm going to throw stuff all over it and have diesel in the back? What's the point, you know? So yeah, don't go broke trying to look rich. That's what Reese is saying. So very, very true, man. And we've got a few comments going on here. We've got Jack Healy saying, very wealthy man once told me, every purchase, get a piece of paper, line down the middle, pros and cons, and be honest with yourself. And if the pros don't weigh out the cons, don't do it. And then Terrapro saying, yeah, don't keep up with the Joneses. So I'm glad everyone's relating to this. So if you're not a business owner, so even people that are workers, laborers, or doing other things in the industry, you can obviously, I can tell you about that too. So I've had workers in the past that tell me, you know, they got a tax refund, or they're going to get taxed, so they're looking at ways to spend money. Or they complain to me about not having enough money. I don't have enough money. I'm barely scraping through for the week. And then they go, and the next minute I'll find out they've bought this 200 centimeter TV, or they've, you know, like a massive big screen TV, spent 10 grand at the big picture guys, or they've bought a brand new bike or a motorbike or another car. And then I'm thinking, and then they're coming to me during the week and saying, hey man, can you just spot me, you know, give me some advance pay because I haven't got enough money for fuel to get to work this week. And then it really makes me laugh when I hear that sort of stuff. So I think the biggest problem though is our influence with social media. So, and I'm a big culprit of this. I do the same thing. We too often compare ourselves with other people. So I'll see other guys on within our industry buying machinery, getting new machines, or guys, you know, showing their brand new F-150s and all jacked up and all this stuff, or their new boats and that. And then I start to think, wow, how's he doing that? Why can't I do that? And then I think, stuff, I'm just going to go buy something too. Why do I have to miss out? And then, like you say, keeping up with the Joneses. So I think the biggest contributor to all our problems at the moment is all this social media and people constantly putting up posts of their Lamborghinis and stuff that they've bought. And yes, I'm not saying you can't have it, but there's a certain point when you can have it. Don't buy unnecessarily. So yeah, like I said, people post all their new equipment. How do you know that they haven't got rid of the old equipment? You know, they might be putting up, yeah, we're getting another addition to the fleet, but what about the ones they traded in or the ones they sold before they got that? So we often don't see that. And they talk about large projects and stuff. So often we see guys posting, you know, they're always working, and I'm thinking it's a bit slow. So how can they constantly be working and getting all these projects? But they could be like old videos. They could be old footage. They could be projects that they're finishing up at the moment. They might not have anything else to go to. So we just got to be careful not to get caught up in comparing ourselves a lot, you know. And like I said, I'm a culprit of that too. I do watch what other people do, and I get not jealous, but sometimes I think, like, how can they be doing it and I'm not doing it? I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? So it's a bit of a problem, yeah. So I'm going to give you a couple of steps or some things to consider before you spend money on something, yeah. So if you guys have got something to import, make sure you jump in as well. But one is ask yourself a couple of questions. Can I do without it? Do I really, really need it? Will I be able to resell it or trade it in? So I'm talking about whether you're doing this for your business or for yourself. So whether you're buying yourself like a car, or you're buying yourself a jet ski or a motorbike, or if you're buying for your business another machine or a truck, ask yourself, can I do without it? How did I do it until now? Will I be able to trade it in or resell it later? Is there a chance it's going to increase? Could this be an investment? So, you know, like I bought a tip truck once during COVID, and I got it for a good price, and then ended up selling it later and actually sold it for the same money. So I didn't do too bad out of it. But then I bought another thing, which was one of the excavators, and then I sold it and I actually lost a lot of money on it. So yeah, you got to weigh it up. And if you're buying personal things, you know, if you're buying a car or something, is it going to be worth more later? Are they a rare item? Consider those things. If you're in business, will there be a tax benefit? So like I was saying earlier, is there going to be any tax benefit in buying that item? Can I replace something else with it? So is it worth trading another machine in to put that one into your fleet? You know, like, is it better off doing that than trying to keep too many things? Yes, Jaws Bobcats is saying and the maintenance cost of the current machines outweighing the cost of new ones. So have a look at your maintenance costs and that what benefits are you going to have about in getting this new item. How long do you intend to keep it? Will it actually make you more money? So can you charge more money if you get this? I'm talking about in business now. If you get this new piece of equipment, is it going to make you more money? Can you charge more? And is there another option? So what's the alternative? Can you get something else or a different brand, or can you get another secondhand machine instead, or secondhand car? So there's some of the considerations. 2, know what stage of life you are in. So what stage in your life are you up at, or what stage is your business at? So is your business at the start? So are you still building your business where you might need to keep buying and adding stuff? Or are you at the start of your career? So if you haven't got a business, are you at the start of your career and you're still young? Or are you midway through your business? So is your business like flattening out now? It's all established, and you're middle-aged maybe for personal items, and you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. Do you really need to start buying things? And then, or are you approaching the end of your business? Is the business now on the decline? Are you looking at shutting down soon or retiring? Or are you at retirement age? So if you're a worker somewhere, you've got to look at that. So there are things you've got to consider when you're making purchases, especially big items. Number 3 is know how hard you really want to work. So don't forget, the more things you're buying and the more equipment you're adding to your business, or if you're buying personal items, you're going to have to work harder for those things. You've got to keep those things going. You've got to somehow maintain them, make the repayments and all that, etc. So are you driven and still have more go in you? So if you're young and you still got keen to work and you want to work a bit harder, you don't care about working more hours and whatever, then you can say, all right, I'll get this item. Are you winding down, like I said earlier, or are you happy to start slowing down? So it's okay to say that you don't want to get massive. You don't want to keep getting bigger and bigger. And you don't maybe want to spend as much time at work anymore. So that's okay to say that, but you just got to know, you got to acknowledge that. Or are you completely over it? Are you at the end, you just want to work bare minimum, you don't want to work any extra hours, you don't want to, you want to spend more time, you actually want to spend more time on yourself or at home or with the family or traveling or whatever, or if you're retiring. So you got to know how hard you really want to work, because once you buy things, most guys here will know that you got to keep maintaining and paying these things off. And then number 4 is, what effect will that have on your direct family? So, or your business. So if you're buying something personally, what effect will it have on your business, on your family? What effect will it have on your business if it's something you're buying for that? Or it could even be the other way. If you're buying something for your business, are you affecting your family? Are you going to have to work harder and see them less? You got to think about these things. Are you going to put more financial stress on yourself and your business or your family? Are you going to increase your work hours by buying this thing, or are you going to decrease your hours? So think about that. And is it going to make your work easier or harder? Think about that as well. And the last thing is, what is the current work environment? Is it really busy at the moment? Is there flat out work? Is this thing that you want to buy in demand? Or is it quietening down? Is there already too many people with that item or that, with that attachment? Are they already like a dime a dozen? So make sure you're not buying something that there's already a million of them out there. So they're the things that you need to really look out for when you're spending. And like I said earlier, if someone's posting that they've got a Lambo and all this sort of stuff, and or they're buying more equipment, more often than not, that's because they're willing, and they've worked hard obviously to get there, and they're willing to keep working harder. So don't compare yourself to them if you're someone that wants to slow down a bit and doesn't really want to work as hard anymore, because you're just going to eat yourself alive. Don't let that happen. And yeah, George is saying also, the going maintenance costs and the upkeep of having those things like a Lambo, for instance, you've got to keep working to buy those things. So don't forget, if you do buy something, obviously that's going to be a repayment that you have to add as an extra to all your income that you got to make for the year. So you're going to be working harder for that. So just really think about things before you make a purchase, because sometimes once you make that purchase, it's very, very hard to go back. You can't just sell it at the drop of a hat. Yeah, and then Terrapro is saying, "Well, you're just starting," and they might. So yeah, he's obviously talking about the Lambo thing. So they might be already in the business for over 10 years. So you can't compare yourself with them if you're just starting out. You got to get there first. So that is my 4 points. So the first one, you got to ask yourself all these questions that I said earlier. Number 2 is know where you are or what stage in life you are or your business is. Know how hard you want to work. That's number 3. And number 4 is what effect will it have on your business or your direct family. So think about those things before you make a purchase so that it's not an unnecessary purchase. Yeah. All right. So, and I do speak from experience because I do like to buy things. And a lot of times I do buy them. I've got things sitting around at the moment that I hardly use. And sometimes I wonder, did I buy them for the right reason? Like, when do I really get to use them? So, and why did I buy it? Was it really for me or to show other people that's what I've got? You got to wonder sometimes. Okay, so that is my topic for this evening. Hopefully that helped a lot of people. Like I said, this will be posted up, so you can always go back and re-listen to some parts if you missed something. But I do want to get on to the guest episode. So I hope you're all excited about this. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I find that it's a bit hard to try and organise things during the week. And then sometimes when you try and tee things up with people, everyone gets busy and then we just keep moving times and stuff. So I thought, you know what? This is just an ad hoc thing. I hit this guy up today and said, hey, do you want to just have a chat tonight? Let's just do it live and see how it goes. So I haven't done a live like this on Instagram yet. So hopefully it works out. Bear with me. So sorry to the TikTok guys. You may not be able to see the other person, but you'll hear me talking. And I don't know if you'll hear their responses, but I'll try and feed it back to you. If not, you can always watch this episode anyway. So I'll edit it and post it up after we finish. So without further ado, I'm just going to go in and see if I can invite this person in. Let me see if I can work that out. Today I have Shane Taggs from Terrapro Earthworks, and he's from Victoria, from the Mornington Peninsula. Is that right?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that's correct.
That's it. That's it. No, I really appreciate you coming on at such short notice. I know we're just going to go through, I suppose, the random questions that you probably see me ask everyone else,
Yeah, sure.
and give everyone the opportunity to meet you, and also, you can share some of your stories.
Got plenty of them.
Plenty of stories, man.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, in case you didn't know, guys, Shane actually was the winner of my Caterpillar calendar a while back.
Mate,
I don't know if you guys remember.
add to it every day.
Yeah,
Add
that's
to it
it.
every day.
So yeah, Shane was the lucky winner of that. And then also Shane's listed on the Earthworks Hub as well. So if you guys ever need to get a machine out, especially in the Mornington area, make sure you hit up Terrapro Earthworks and go to Earthworks Hub, and you get all these details on there. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? So how did you get into the industry?
Okay, so I got into the industry because when I was younger, I used to travel quite a bit. I was a sponsored skateboarder, snowboarder, and I would do anywhere from 6 to 9 months of the year overseas or in the Australian Alps. So I would kind of get work in companies, and then it would come to that winter time of year, whether it was overseas or would be our winter, and kind of hand in my papers and be like, all right, boys, see you later. Thanks for the last fucking 4 or 5 months. I'm out of here. And after a while, that wasn't really, it's not great to be doing that. And as I matured, I kind of learned that's probably not the best thing to do. So I got into labour hire. Was recommended by someone, was like, hey, you've got trade skills, get into labour hire and jump on. So I would get back from overseas and call up CMR personnel or connect people or whoever, and just say, hey, I'm available for work, these are my skills. I had a lot of tickets, like I've been through and done all the groundwork. I've done Cert 3 Civil, all on my own bat, paid for it all myself. And then that worked out so much better because I would get onto a good project. Like I managed to do all freeway infrastructure works like Peninsula Link, East Link, Dingley Bypass, rail, tram works, mainly as labouring, like mainly as just hands on the ground. And then when I was time to go overseas, I'd just say, hey, I'm done in a month's time, and didn't upset anybody. So that's how I got into it.
Mm, very
Yeah.
good. Very good. And what about, so that's obviously how you got, some experience in that. What about how'd you start your own business? Because I'm sure a lot of people, are asking that sort of question. How do you start? So, run us through some of the things you did to start off.
Uh, all right. So I'll keep it brief, or a condensed version. It wasn't intentional. I worked for a particular person, and kind of just got to an age, I think, in life where I was in my early 30s, had my first kid, and kind of was looking for something. Um, didn't think it was earth moving, to be honest. I actually was doing a bit of content and photography and videography, um, as like a side hustle, along with a million other side hustles. But I did a deal saying, hey, look, I kind of want my own machine. I want to have like pride in my gear, and just get to that next level. And did a deal to subcontract, had a face-to-face conversation saying, hey, I'll sub it to you full time. And if there is any jobs that do come my way, I'll either put them through you or do them on weekends. Anyway, did the deal, committed to a machine, and then got ghosted, fully ghosted.
For real?
Yeah, ignored every phone call. The reason I didn't have a truck when I started. I had no truck, no trailer, no transport. I had a brand new digger, and I was told not to because that particular company had a brand new fleet of vehicles, and I was the last full-time employee. And yeah, it just didn't work out. But blessing at the same time, because it's helped me to get to where I am now. So hit the ground running, mate. I scrambled because I had a pregnant wife, I had a 1-year-old, and a mortgage and all the rest, and just did what I know how to do, which is talk to people. So just I was wearing my high vis shirts and going to freaking sites on the side of freeways, knocking on the site shed doors. Like, yeah, I was hustling, and then yeah, slowly got the word out and managed to find a couple of jobs which got me going. But yeah, it was paying like $700 just to get a flatbed to take my digger to a job, to do a 2-day job, and then pay another 600-700 to get to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how it started.
There you go. There you go. So
Yeah,
it's either sink or swim, isn't it? What machine was that? Is that the same one you have now, or
yeah,
was that
yeah.
something else?
No, it's my 5-tonner. Yeah, I did all my research. Like I'm a research kind of guy. So um, with my personality, when I'm into something, I'm all in. And so when it came time to find a machine, plus all the history I already had of working in the industry, I just found the 5-tonner for me was the digger that got the most amount of work that I enjoyed, and that I could afford. I mean, in an ideal world, I'd probably like a 13 or something like that. But yeah, repayments on a 5-tonner seemed to line up with what I thought I could afford, or
Yeah.
can afford, kind of afford.
Yeah. It's true what you say. They're a very universal machine. Like you can do all sorts of work with them: civil, landscaping, residential. You can do a whole bunch of stuff, and they're easy to move around, especially if you've got your own truck. You can find it easier to move around. Whereas once you go a bit bigger, like 13 or 10 or 13 above, then you
Yeah,
need floats and stuff like that, and then your machine sits around on sites until the next job. Yeah, so I do know what you mean. That's why there's a lot of 5-tonners out there, though.
yeah, that's also true.
Yeah, yeah. And what sort of work do you predominantly do nowadays?
I mean, it's hard to kind of put a finger on it. I do a bit of everything. So um, when it all kind of came about and I started, like, so being that I was kind of leaning towards content and marketing and branding and things like that. When I was kind of forced out to start my own thing, sink or swim, I did all the branding and marketing. Boom, slapped up the Ute with all the stickers, and did all the cars and the logos and all this stuff, and just went and hustled, and got some gigs on like just random jobs, like digging slabs. Obviously, did a lot of slab digs through recommendation, and then I landed on a commercial gig. and I literally ran the all external for that commercial gig for a year and a half. And then since then, I finished that recently, probably like 4 months ago. And since then, I'm back to not scrambling, but just trying to build a clientele because being on a commercial gig for a year and a half, I said no to people for a long time. So I don't really have an answer to what I specialize in, or I can handle anything. There's no scale of what I like. My capability is I believe any size within reason. But yeah, I mean, domestic high end is what I like. But commercial is kind of what I landed on.
Yeah. I know what happens there because I've been in the same boat. Like you get a good gig where you're on like a long-term project, either commercial
I
or
loved
civil
it.
or whatever.
Loved
And
it.
then it's good because you know you're going to work every day, you're going to get good income.
It's security.
But then it's good security, yeah. So I
Yeah.
understand what happens, and then what happens is you keep saying no to all the guys that call you for little random jobs, and then they
Yeah.
start to look elsewhere because they're like, oh, we can't use you anymore. Shane's
Yeah.
always too busy. Don't worry about it. And then I know. Then when you finish with,
And
yeah,
then make relationships too. So it's not only that you're saying no, which like that sucks for someone like me. I hate saying no to people. I'm a bit of a people pleaser. But they go off and find a relationship with somebody else. And it's like, well, it's hard to come back, even though I might already have a relationship with that company. I can't be like, oh, hey, I'm free now. Like, get rid of the other dude.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a hard one.
yeah. They're not going to hang around and wait for you always, Yeah, they might do it once or
No.
twice, and then when
Yeah,
you let them
yeah,
down, they're just going to say, "Oh, don't worry about it." Yeah,
yeah.
too hard. Yeah, no, I hear. No, I hear. So, what about employees? Have you got any employees or ever had any?
No. So I just stick solely to subcontractors. So I don't know. I don't know if it's like an age thing or just the people I was surrounded by, but I seem to have found a lot of people that I previously associated with. We all kind of just went out and did our own things at the same time. So I know a lot of owner operators, posies and 15s, and a good mate of mine's got like a whole series, like 1 through 15. So when I've needed someone on that commercial job, for instance, I had like 5 dudes on site under my banner,
Yep.
but just paid them good money. Wasn't trying to get rich off them. I just could service the client and get the job done, and might have made like $5 off the top, but
Yeah.
didn't have actual employees, and kind of thankful I didn't go down that path actually, because it is quiet, so that would have been quite difficult now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I, I always say that's like I said before about buying stuff, you got to look at the environment as well, like what's it like at the moment. And now you've touched on that. How are you finding it at the moment? I mean, it's supposed to be really, really quiet in Melbourne. I personally
yeah,
I haven't had that much work come to me. But yeah, what about yourself?
yeah, mate. I'm exactly the same. So I joke to a couple of people I'm close with that, like, when I get quiet, you'll know there'll be signs. I'll be doing slab digs and traveling, and sure enough, I've been going from where I live down near Rye. I live in a little town called Tookarook, and I've been going to Footscray. So yeah, she's
Yeah,
quiet, mate. Yeah, like just taking whatever I can. I'm traveling like 2 hours each way at the moment, almost. So yeah, I mean, I'm lucky I still have work, but it's not week-long jobs. It's like day here, day there,
yeah.
and not where I live,
That
which is pain in
it's
the butt.
almost like when you first start off, like you got to take jobs wherever you can,
Oh, take
just to
anything. Yeah.
get your name out there. And I feel like we've all come back around full circle, and we're back at that stage again. Like you got
Oh,
to just travel
100%.
wherever to get anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And say yes. Like, so, I struggled with, like, I'm 2 years in, so like I'm not exactly a seasoned professional, and a year and a half of that was pretty much one job. So I'm just trying to juggle the whole. Whilst I work, or have a project locked in, I seem to forget, like, hey, shit, you should probably start trying to line up the next thing. So at the moment, if anything comes my way, I'm saying yes, and then just make it work, as best as I can without upsetting schedules and things like that. So yeah, she's quiet.
Yeah, no, it is. It is very, very quiet. And like
Yeah.
you say, if you've got employees and that, I'd be yeah, a bit concerned now. Like thinking about days that I used to try and just find work for them to do around the yard and stuff. Like eventually that runs out. You run out of maintenance work to give them, and then what do you do when there's nothing at all for like weeks? Then what? Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean, it's only your truck can only get so clean, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I hear, I hear. So no, that's good. It's good to hear. I'm not the only one then. But
yeah,
when we have these weekly lives, it's the same thing. Everyone's saying it's very, very quiet.
yeah,
My phone hardly rings like it used to. It used to go off the hook. I used to get messages from plan hire agencies all the time. I haven't got one for ages.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and that's what you're saying before about social media. It's like even my Instagram, like I do try and post often and all those things, but like just getting these jobs, like I'm working in Canterbury. Canterbury takes me longer to get to than Footscray, which is over the other side of the bloody water. So it's I'm scrambling for those jobs. Like I'm lucky enough that I have a connection to get the foot in the door, but like I'm just saying, yeah, I'll be there. Get up at 4 a.m. and I'm in the truck at like I'm out my yard by 4:30 in the morning, just to get to these jobs and beat the traffic and stuff. So there's a lot of background work that goes into even just getting to these. This might be a small pissy little job, but it's another day of making some money. So
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot
and
that
then
goes into it.
yeah, and that's where then you spend a lot of time making phone calls, trying to get someone for the next job, and there you're right. So this is where I always talk about people who need a buffer. People that want to start a business and they say to me like, "Oh, what's something that you recommend?" And I always say, make sure you've got a buffer there because you're not going to be working every day. Like it's not 7 days
Yeah,
a week of work. Sometimes you don't know what you're doing for. I don't even know what I've got booked in for next week, let alone like 2 weeks ahead. So. If there's nothing, I've got to have something in the background in case. I've got to have some money there
yeah,
just to let
100%.
me get me through.
And it's
Yeah,
boom and bust, man. Like our industry, like construction's cyclical. Like it goes hard and then we bust and everyone shits themselves and it does that for a couple of years and then it booms again. Like that's how it's been since forever. We just have had it very good for a very long time. And I speak on this as someone that's been in the industry, not running a business. But I've been, boots on the ground for a long time. And yeah, it goes good. Like there was a time where I was on wages working on, these infrastructure jobs being unioned up and I was like making more money than I'm making now. That was like 8 years ago.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
I hear.
it's been very easy for everybody
Yeah,
to kind of fall into work, and now it's getting quiet. You've got these big mobs with 10, 15, 20 plant and staff that are not doing infrastructure. So it's like, well, they're going to come into your little world and try and get whatever work they can. Like I know of some big companies that try and like taking up driveways and shit. Like
yeah,
just to get some of their guys, moving again.
yeah,
So there's a lot more people fighting for the smaller stuff.
yeah. True. Sometimes I wonder. Like I always ask that question. Like, why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep like? Why don't we just pack up our boots and go work for someone again? Like I don't know. But what is it? What actually keeps you going as well?
I'm married to debt. I'm married to debt. Like, got a mortgage, got a family.
Yeah,
Um, I quite enjoy being an employee. Like I like camaraderie and workplace interaction and things like that. So I mean I don't have a choice. That's my realistic answer.
yeah,
And it comes natural. So my old man's always said, when something comes easy and you can do it well, just keep doing that until you figure it out.
yeah,
So I just keep doing it. It's something I have done for a long time now. Um, you know, again for myself 2 years, but as an operator for a long time. But yeah, you're married to debt. Like you got to pay a mortgage. Like I want to pay my mortgage off for like 7 to 10 years, not 30.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I
yeah,
suppose you know what you're probably passionate about it as well. So I like people say to me, "Why do you still keep excavating? Like, why don't you just go do something else?" And I say, "But I like doing that. I like seeing the end result after I've dug something out, and I like being able to say like, oh, I did that, and taking pride in showing like how I leveled off something really nice or my trenches are
yeah,
straight. I enjoy that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shit, yeah, yeah, shit, yeah. I mean, and that's just like part of the job. It's, I mean, I couldn't sleep at night if I left something looking shitty. You know, like
Yeah.
I do go back and like, what happened the other day? I did something. I think I screwed as I came out of a driveway and like loaded up in the truck and like it was good to go and it started raining and I looked behind me. I was like, fuck, I can't do that. So jump back out with a rake and raked out my truck
Yeah,
parts.
yeah. I do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do the
yeah,
same. I always look behind me and go, oh, I left the track there now. I got to go quickly. And if I haven't got any things, I
yeah,
just use my boots. I just like move it with my feet,
yeah, yeah. Just kick it
just
with your
level it
feet.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shit, yeah,
Because there's nothing better than when someone walks on site and looks at your work and goes, oh, that looks awesome, man.
yeah.
That's a good feeling.
Well, yeah. And so I mean, speaking of that, like I've been finding with new clients that I have been lucky enough to gain recently, just doing what I find is a normal job for me, and the reaction I'm getting is like, "Whoa, fuck, you can do that!" And like, "Oh shit, yeah, that looks
Yeah.
great." I'm like, what do you normally get?" Like,
Yes.
yeah, like
It's true.
I cut in a V because this driveway needed to have a small grade to a central V that fed to a pit, and having a tilt hitch. I was like, yeah, no worries, boys. Like, I just tilt it and pull it through, and they were like, oh, like they've never seen anything like it. So it kind of wigs me out. I'm like, I'm not doing anything fancy. I just like, what are you used to getting, you know? So
Yeah.
I think that
It's,
will help in the long run weed out some of the the service issues that clients are getting. You know, like there has been such an abundance that it didn't really matter. I guess you always have to do quality to some
yeah.
degree, but you
Yeah.
know that whole getting out and raking a trench or sorry a track mark or kicking some mud out of the way so it's not on the road. That those little things will get you to that next level.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. And that maybe that's what's going to happen in this in quiet times or quiet environment. Maybe this will be the time where all the the bad eggs get weeded out. So, and they'll people won't put up with their stuff as all the better guys are starting to come out back into the residential field.
yeah,
So
or becoming more available. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
a
Well,
lot of
that's
these
right.
guys might have been booked out for a long time. It's like, well, if you can choose between A or B, and you know what you're getting with B, and A is a bit questionable, you're gonna
Yeah,
try and get the other one. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That is true.
yeah.
That's true. Someone just asked me before, am I going to be going live tomorrow? So I usually go live during the week while I operate, just to give people tips and show what I'm doing. And it's funny because it prompted me, I was going to ask you a question about that. I've noticed lately you've been doing a lot of lives during the day while you're working. How are you finding that? Is that something you've been doing for a while, or is that something recent?
No, no, it's like it's it like to be honest, I actually wanted to do a podcast, and having seen you do it, it's kind of inspired me to be like, oh, maybe I should start doing a bit more of this live stuff. And I follow a few guys like yourself. Jimmy Diggs is a big one. I think he's Queensland,
Yeah,
and it's a confidence thing too. Yeah, like the videos that I do put out, they're not first take, like especially when I'm talking, and live still feels very uncomfortable. But I don't know, it's the truth, and I've always been a big advocate for like no smoke and mirrors. There's no bullshit here. Like that's just
yeah,
it is what it is. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying the lives. I still don't. If you've seen them, you'll find I don't know whether I should be talking or sitting still, sitting quiet. But
No, you do good.
um,
You do good. I do live during the week, and that's where I get most of my viewers. Like some days I've had 30, 40 people. Sometimes I have 150 people on TikTok at once just watching, and I get amazed at the amount of people that like watching what we do, and they're interested. And I think a
yeah,
lot of them aren't even in the industry. They're just curious to know what we do. And by me going live and having the camera facing outside, and they're all like keep asking questions like, "What are you doing there? Why is that? How come you're
yeah,
digging
hundred
like
percent.
that?" And I enjoy that because we're actually sharing it, and people are seeing what we do. They're not because I think a lot of people have this perception that you just sit in there and pull a few joysticks, but there's a lot more to it.
Oh, Oh mate, yeah, like yeah, especially in the smaller stuff. Like I thought I could operate, like being young, working on these infrastructure jobs. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm a big dog. And I come down to the peninsula. I moved down here. I didn't grow up down here, and I got in with a domestic company, and they put me in like a three, a 1 point, a 3.5. It was a 3.5. I was like, what do you mean 3.5? Because they had a 14 and they wouldn't
Yeah,
let me in it. I was like, and I'd never operated anything smaller than 14.
yeah,
I've been like, 40 through 15 kind of thing. And yeah, they put me in a 3.5. I was like, what is this fucking little thing, And I literally, that's where I found out, okay, domestic teaches you how to operate.
yeah,
Like, sure, you go jump on a greenfield job and like go dig a trench for fucking 3Ks. It's like you got nothing to hit. It's all brand new land.
yeah,
And if it wobbles, like you can sort it out, But go dig an edge beam next to an existing building that's like got some fucking hard concrete render on it or something. Like, don't touch
yeah,
it. Don't breathe on it.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
that really taught me how to freaking operate a digger.
You're very, very, very true what you're saying there. Working residential, the rules are different, if there are any rules. You're doing things that you're not supposed to be doing,
Yeah,
but you find a way. You're working between tiny little areas. You've got people walking around behind you. Half the time, there's no high vis, there's no hats, no helmets. People are
yeah,
just doing what they want, and you're in this machine flinging dirt around, moving pits, lifting stuff. Yeah, you do in like you say, yeah, doing like domestic work really, really hones in on your skills and that.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
no,
Good.
I agree.
I'm seeing a few of these comments here. Like I know Doug. Doug's a pretty decent operator. He's taught me a few things, and I've been going to him for a while for some advice in business. And
Yeah,
he's saying on there that best thing he ever did was shut down his business and go on wages. But I mean, I don't know. I'd like to think that he probably is not as leveraged as I am. Like, uh,
yeah.
I've, I've
Uh,
always said that if my wife and I discussed when this kind of happened. I was like, if shit gets tough, like I'm gonna be gone. Like I'll be working big days and weekends and 7 days to try and keep things moving.
yeah,
So to go on wages in my position is not really achievable. Sure, like I could sell the house and make some money, but
yeah,
yeah, like I need to kind of stay in what I'm doing because I need to work my way out of it almost.
yeah, yeah. Look, you can make good money in our field, and sometimes, like I found when I was doing projects, I made a bit better money because then in the project I could make a little bit of money on the soil, make a bit of money on other things. And if you try and smash the job out a bit quicker, you make a bit extra. But when you're just on hourly hire, sometimes I do look at things and I think, well, why don't I just go work for someone else? Like it's almost like working for someone anyway, because you've always got somebody
Yeah, yeah,
telling
they're
you
the
what to do.
boss.
So it is. It's a hard one. It's hard. A lot of people would say. My father-in-law tells me a lot of times, just pack it all up, just go work for someone. You have RDOs, you'll have, all your super paid, everything will be done. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't know if I can. I know I could do that.
Yeah. And then those jobs aren't as readily available anymore. Like we all know, like it's not what you know, it's who you know to get onto that kind of
Yeah,
gig. Um, I mean, I did when I first kind of got the wheels in motion for what I'm doing now. I had a company try and take me on, like wanted me to do, earth moving operations, and I got offered some really good money, and I was just like, oh God, I don't think I can now that like
yeah,
the kind of the bond of being an employee had been broken. I was just like, I can't be owned anymore. Like, and I'm a bit of a creative free spirit anyway, so I don't mind being my own kind of driver, but yeah,
yeah.
it's not going to be as easy to go and get wages jobs. Like I know a lot of people looking for operators, but like there's 50 people going for that one position. It's not
Mhm.
two.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose once you're out of it, and then you're working for yourself. I don't know what it is. Like we think we've got this freedom, which you probably don't really, but it just feels different when you can say it's my own business. You can sort of decide
You're in
what you want to do in
control.
some way. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
you're in
control it a bit more. Yeah,
control.
yeah,
And it's your expectation, I feel. Like, so obviously, when this did kind of come to fruition, I did, especially being offered a gig like I was offered, was, well, what do I actually want out of this? And I just kind of told myself, if I could match my wage after all the bullshit and make my payments on everything, I'd be happy to start there. And I think I did that like my first 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
Like as far as like doing the figures and going, oh shit, like I can actually make this work. And I wasn't making lots of money, but after I made my digger payment and mortgage payment, my bills, I was left with more, like a little bit more than what I used to bring home on wages. So I was like, oh, well, fuck, I'll make a go of this. And then it grew quite well. But you just got to, what your expectations are. Like you can't be like, oh, I want to run my own business and I'm going to make $1 gazillion, because it might not turn out, and 3 months in you'll give up. But if you're like, hey, if I can own my asset and pay my mortgage and things, and then make the same kind of money that I'm used to, that might be a good place to start.
Yeah, that's true. I think the thing is that a lot of times we set out and we say, yeah, I'll be happy with that amount. I'll just get one machine. I'll be happy with that. And then if you stick to it, like you're saying, you probably can. And if you can pay that asset off, and then all the rest of the money is really yours after that, you can sort of survive, and it's good money. But the problem is a lot of us get carried away and start saying, oh, I might get another machine. I can put a worker on. I can do this. And then you get into this ball that just keeps getting like, and it makes it so you work harder and you need more money, and then you got liabilities and debts and people to pay. And a lot of us get into this ball that just can't stop rolling. And that's when a lot of people, suffer.
I've been obviously listening to you guys, because I don't really have anyone to, it's such a hard industry to have a mentor or discussions without being, quote unquote, competition. I'm actually really lucky. I've got a good mate now that does give me a fair bit of info, because he moved to Queensland. So he's happy to help me out a bit. He always was, but the conversations have gotten a bit more deep. But it's I'm asking those questions now. Like my digger's coming up to 2,000 hours, and I'm like, oh. So when I started, I was like, new digger, I'm not negotiating on. Like I wanted a new excavator, and that was purely for warranty issues and things like that. I've worked for a lot of companies. I've never seen a new digger have a major issue. Actually, my mate's digger just did, but I won't get into that. But yeah, like, and if it did, it was covered by warranty. So that was my whole thing. But even now, I'm like, well, do I trade in and get new? But there is no better option. Like I'm all for, if there was a machine out there that was like, offering 20-30% better in every which way, sure, I'd jump ship and go get it. But there's nothing new out there. Like I'd just be upgrading for the sake of because. So I'm more than happy to hold on to my digger, and I'm starting to look more down the road of owning. I want to own it, and then make some actual money.
And I suppose
wage,
Well, that's true, yeah. And if you're on it mainly, then I suppose you know the history of it, and you know the maintenance and all that. Whereas if you've got multiple employees on there, you don't know what they've done to it, what's how they're treating it. So it may not last as long, I suppose. Not that they're all bad. I've had guys personally that are really good that took care of the machines probably better than I did. But you might get, if you're going through a lot of people, you don't know what they're going to do to it, and then it won't last more than 2,000 hours.
Half the reason why I wanted my own digger was like I would carry garbage bags in my own car to clean out the machine that I'm hopping into after somebody else. Like half-eaten burritos, fucking upside-down Coke cans behind the seat. Like just how could you do that? So I got over it, and that's why I like my machine, and I don't wash it anywhere near as much as people might think. Like I'm busy, like I got kids, I got, family commitments, and then, it's a bit of an effort. You got to go to the yard, set everything up. Like you're not getting paid for that, but it's, I'll always, another good mate of mine, Hick Excavations, Joel, he actually taught me a little bit of a secret. He keeps baby wipes in the cab.
Yes.
So yeah, man, baby wipes, and then if you get grease, and you get a bit of excess, you just go around with a baby wipe. And actually, leading on to something you mentioned recently was, I thought I'd be smart. I'd go the next step further. I was like, shit, yeah, this is a great idea. I'm gonna come up with this fucking killer idea.
Yeah.
I went and got barbecue wipes.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Well, what you don't know about barbecue wipes is they've actually got grit. So it's like sandpaper.
Yes.
So I was wiping the grease off, and I was wiping the bum of the digger. I was like,
Yeah.
this is great. Then I saw it in the fucking sunlight, and half the paint was like scuffed. I was like, oh God.
Yeah. So
So yeah,
you saw that episode then, didn't you, last week?
yeah, shit, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my operator did the whole machine with it. It looked awesome. When I got there, he just finished and he wiped it all down, and I was like, "This is awesome, man! It's shiny. Like, what'd you use?" And he goes, "Oh, I got the barbecue stuff out of the rubbish
Killer.
pile." And then the next day we came in and it was like chalk. It just like
Yeah,
ate all the paint.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
nasty.
sorry. Yeah.
Oh mate, yeah, I'm copping some slack for that diesel video. Let me tell you. So that thing
Yeah.
went viral, man. I actually gained like 400 followers in like a week,
Yeah. Yeah.
and almost 200,000 views now on Instagram. That video, and yeah, some of the comments like, "Oh, it's gonna kill the machine." I was like, "Well, people have been doing that for a long time, you know. Like I don't
Yeah.
leave it on there for days. I like leave it on for a bit, wash it off, and I use CT18 truck wash. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
again, don't leave that on for ages. Just kind of
No. No,
no,
don't.
because it'll chalk the paint
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
true.
they think you're a bloody idiot, but still, you just you try and share. You know,
Hey,
no one shared
you gotta
shit from
try. You gotta
yeah,
try. Hey, baby wipes. Until we had kids, I had no idea about baby
yeah,
wipes. After having
yeah,
kids, I carry them in the car, wipe my hands in the machines.
yeah.
They're everywhere in the house. We use them just to clean up stuff quickly. You know,
Yeah,
like
well,
they're just
they're like just
handy.
and they're great for the windows actually.
Yeah,
So I always have a microfiber in the cab, and if the window's getting dirty, like you don't if you don't have Windex, just baby wipe,
yeah.
and then just quick go over with the microfiber, and she's gold.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Just going back to Doug Sparks, he's saying, don't get me wrong, I did love having my own business and made some awesome money, but now it's just easier to turn up and operate. And I hear what he's saying. I am going through that phase, I reckon, at the moment. I think I'm at that stage where I'm sort of a little bit over trying to expand my business. I'm happy to sort of stay where I'm at, but
yeah,
also because I'm doing all this stuff, it's taking up a lot of time, and I'm at that point where I'm like, oh, do I just not have any machines and just work for other people to keep cash flow while I'm doing this stuff, or do I just keep going with my machine? You know,
yeah,
so I'm at probably that stage where Doug's talking about. But I suppose I don't know. It's hard. Like you say, once you're out of working for someone directly, it's just easier to have your own stuff. You can't go back. You know.
I think more time for golf for Doug.
Yeah, more time for
Yeah,
golf. That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And like, and I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what age bracket are you in, Ivan?
I'm 46.
Yeah, okay. And
46.
so, and how long have you done it for? How long have you been in the game?
Over 12 years. I've had the business
Yeah,
over 12 years.
yeah. So you've
Um,
had some good too, though. Yeah, like
yeah,
because
yeah.
this
No,
is like Doug as well. Like he had I think he was doing screw piling and things as well. Like
yeah,
and owning that business through a decent boom.
yeah,
He's had some good times.
yeah. No, look, I did well and had a lot of experiences. I had a lot of people, a lot of machines, a lot of workers, met a lot of people, did a lot of big projects, did things that I never thought I'd be doing.
Yeah,
But then now I'm like more happy to sort of share that information and do this. This is like my next phase. So I'm sort
love
of
it.
like focusing on this stuff. But I also do like, property investing and that on the side. So I've got all that stuff going as well. And
Yeah,
that's sort of, I'm feeding that at the moment, but I'm also trying to do this. So it's hard to run a business as well. So that's why I'm probably slowing down a bit on that. But otherwise,
yeah, for
if I
sure.
wasn't, I'd be probably still going, full steam.
Like I wish, like I don't wish I got pushed into this, but it's, I'm 37, and it's like, fuck, man, like my body's already hurting, I'm like, maybe 5 years, like
Yeah.
maybe seven extra,
Yeah, yeah.
going back into buying gear, like I really want a tag trailer, but I'm like, it doesn't make me any money,
Yes.
like,
That's
so,
why I got rid of mine. I bought it for
yeah,
convenience. It was good to have it. So I had the 5 tonner on that and then the posi in the tipper. And
yeah,
that was going to be my end my end combo. I was going to just keep doing that for years, and then I'd
Yeah.
be working with one machine at a time or two, and they'd sit on site for like 2-3 months because I was doing a massive commercial landscaping job, and
Love
the
it.
truck would hardly get used.
Yeah.
The trailer would be sitting there, and I'm thinking, I just bought all this stuff, brand new truck, brand new trailer. I was just sitting there, and I was like, it's not
Yeah.
making me any money. Yeah, and if I put an operator in, it wouldn't be making any money because it doesn't sort of work out. And I thought, just get rid of it.
Yeah. It's
Just get rid of it.
great.
Yeah.
But like knowing to when to pivot, yeah, like that's things that come with time in the game,
Yeah.
like experience. You know, like
Yeah.
I didn't want the truck that I have now, but when it kind of all happened, I didn't have a budget for a truck at all. So I was
Yeah.
lucky that doing that infrastructure job, commercial gig,
Yeah.
where I was there for a year and a half, gave me the wheels to kind of get some money together to buy a truck. So I literally researched, given that I love research,
Yeah.
and I found like what's the smallest truck I can get to fit my digger that's like, you know, it's got to meet, is it reliable and, you know, cost effective and
Yeah.
not going to be a hunker.
Yeah.
And like I actually used a mate of mine's Hino 500, and my digger didn't even fit in it at all. We had the bucket out the back of the tailgate,
Oh no.
and I bought mine knowing that, but I just said I'm going to buy it because I can afford it and I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's why I've cut. I don't know if you've seen. I've actually cut a secondary tailgate in it, and I swing that open and curl the arm out the back every time. And I've got 30 mil of room to spare with my ramps in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's tight, but it's affordable and it does the job.
That's it. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
My first truck. Oh, sorry, I got a question from Tyler here. Did you just get your machine floated around before you got your truck? No, I had an old tipper. So I had an old Volvo before the last truck that I got rid of. So I had an old Volvo tipper, and used just a tip truck. So the only thing is, I'd have to take, if I needed a combo, I'd have to drop the posi track off, come back, pick up the 5 tonner, then drive back, or I'd have to try and convince the customer to let me just bring one machine for the day, the one they need mainly, and then the next day bring the other one in, so I don't have to drive around twice. Or I'd have to go like in the morning really early beforehand and drop off one machine and come back before 7 o'clock to come back with the other one. So yeah, a bit of moving around. But yeah, no, look, my first truck, and you got to be creative too when you're first starting out. So a tip for anyone that's starting, you got to be creative and keep your ears to the ground. Like my first tip truck, I was thinking about buying one, and I put the word out, and people were sort of saying, we'll keep an eye out for it. And I had a mate that was working somewhere, and he said, hey, there's a guy here. He's just divorced with his wife. He hasn't got a car. He's basically looking for a car, but all he has is his tip truck. He had an old Mac tip truck that he used to use for work, and he's trying to get rid of it. And he said, why don't you go and offer him to swap your car and get a truck out of it? And I was like, oh, we'll work it out. And I said, he probably won't do it. Like, my car's only worth like 10 grand. This thing's probably worth heaps. And he goes, just try. You never know. He's desperate. And I went over there. I said, hey, you want to swap my car? And he's like, yeah, right, done.
That's
and I swapped. I ended up with a tip truck.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then you just got to be creative and just keep your ears to the ground. You know, keep trying and looking around, and things will happen.
And yes,
so it did need a little bit of work in the end, but it was all right. It worked out. I still got myself a cheap truck. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And like, and in my instance, yeah, Tyler, I didn't have a truck. I had to get flatbeds, and it cost me a bomb. But my thing was, if you could find a job that was over like 3 days, maybe 4 days, it would be okay. You know, like you'd make enough to cover the cost. It would just come out of your profit. But yeah, I had to scramble my ass off. And at one point, I think I did like a 1 day job. I don't even know, it was like Blackburn or some shit. And I think after the day of paying the float fee to get there and the float fee to get back, because I had to get back home because I didn't even have a job for it to go to next, I think I made $50, you know.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
But you know, the way I worked it out, I calculated how much the truck was costing me to hold, and then I sort of worked out, well, if I have to every now and then float my machine and not to another job, it sort of works out even, but I don't have that headache of the truck on top of it. So that's the way
jobs.
that's how I did it.
Jobs.
Yeah, and I was doing a long-term job. That's why. Yeah. So
awesome.
yeah. All right. So any advice for anyone that, what advice can you give to anyone that wants to start one as an operator? We'll start off as an operator, and then we'll go to starting a business. And then if it combines, it combines. What would be your main tips? So I know you said a couple of things earlier, but what would be the main tips if you had to start again?
Oh, 100%. So when I was trying to get from a shovel to a digger, uh, I went to every single quarry from down on the peninsula to Lilydale, and I offered to work for free on Saturdays to get seat time. I was like, I will work for free if you put me in a front end loader, posi, excavator, whatever, so that I can get the skills to then go and either get the job as a full time operator, because I was in and out of machines, but not much. Being through labour hire companies and stuff, you're there to kick shit, not snap necks and cash checks. But so I knew, all right, I need to get off this shovel because this sucks, and I want to get in a digger. But everybody is straight up like, I want 3 years experience, I want this much experience, can you do this, can you do that? I was confident enough to be like, sure, like of course I can do that, and try and figure it out. But I offered to work for free, and not one establishment took me up on my offer. So, if it was me doing it now, I'd go hire a machine and just have a crack on like a friend's property, or a mate that might want their driveway peeled up. Like go get them to pay for it or something, and be like, oh, I'll do it, or go Harvey's or whatever. But I'll try and hire a machine, definitely. And if you know someone with a property, or even if someone's got a machine, just like, hey, can I come to your yard and jump in it? So that's something I would do if I was looking to become an operator, or even better my skills. Like even I'm still looking to better myself. Like I've never done GPS work. And I've spoken to dudes in Queensland about GPS, like through Instagram. There's a couple of guys that are pretty damn awesome in offering free lessons and stuff at their yards, because they're trying to find operators. Like I'd just be open to all those things, and whether it's like, hey, can I come to a Saturday job and just help out to learn. That's how I'd go about it. And then starting my own business, I would just have confidence. I think that's the number one thing. If you go into it not knowing or second guessing yourself, you'll eat yourself up. So that's that. I struggle with that massively. Like, a lot of people, again, Instagram, socials, all that stuff. No one sees that shit, but it's freaking hard, man. Like it's big days. It's like, it never ends. And I think the more you love it, the better you'll do at it, because you'll push through where other people give up. And it's cliche and we all hear it, but it's downright the truth. Like, you'll push yourself to do better. Like when I'm trimming, whether it be rock or smudging or shaping, it's like, I'll do something, I'll look at it, I could get that better. And if the job allows it, I'll just reach back in. If I've got a bit of extra time, I'll go get it and make it better, or take that 5 mil hump out, and always push to offer a better service. And I think in business that will get you further, within reason. Like it needs to be cost effective too. Like you can't go wasting people's time and budgets and things. So no, I hope that covers both of those aspects anyway.
No, I think that's good. That's really good advice. And I've said similar stuff as well. And it's one of the most common questions I get, especially when I do my live sessions. People always say, like, how do I get in? And when everyone wants me to have this experience, but doesn't want to give me a chance. And I know, so exactly what you're saying, that I've said the exact same thing. Other people have written on TikTok here that they've done jobs for really cheap on Saturdays, just to try and, like, they've got machines and done it for really cheap just to get jobs, and get the name out. Other people have said they've also bought small machines to start with, or hired them exactly like you. So I'm getting different comments from TikTok here as well. But no, exactly. I think I totally agree with what you're saying.
And then it's like, it's what are you going to offer? So like, you got to look at it from a business perspective too. It's like, well, they might have 10, 15 blokes in their year, say, oh, I want to learn. What can you give me? Like when you're going to someone saying, give me seat time, it's like, you're asking to take. Like, well, what are you going to give? So it's like, you got to kind of put the other side to it and be like, well, is it like, I've got a young guy, Ben Grazed Earthworks, that's done a lot of work for me during my business. Or he helped me for a solid, almost a solid 12 months continuously on that commercial gig, and I paid him really well. But what I was paying him for was reliability and work ethic, and like the kid knew enough, he knows how to operate. I'm not having to spend a lot of the time teaching and things.
Yeah.
So to be able to take someone like that, like they're going to get a better option, because like he's not going to wake up hungover and not rock up. He doesn't do drugs. Like he's not out partying till 4 a.m., which you would find on their socials. Like, so if you're a person that's wanting to get into the industry, it's like you need to take it to that company and be like, I'm going to offer you the better deal. So an example, when I was with some of the bigger mobs trying to get into machines, I was first on, last off. Like I was there before everybody else greasing machines. Like I'd go grease, learn where the grease points are, Moxies, rigid dump trucks, 40-ton excavators, cat compactors, like everything. And I'm not saying I'd do it every day, but I'd ask that operator, like, hey, can you teach me like maintenance? Like, can I shovel your tracks out? Like almost a bit of sucking dick. But you got to learn. And when I started being 18, 20 years ago now, almost 20 years ago, no one wanted to teach anybody. Like it was all, don't teach the young bloke, he'll take your job.
Yeah.
Whereas the mentality I have and always have had is, if you're good at your job, you'll fucking keep it. So hence why I love the lives and all those things, because it's like we're sharing, because you want other people to come up. You want to bring people up with you, not make it hard like it was for us. And by putting that effort in and showing a company that you're willing to, like, hey, I'll come do Saturdays for free and labour on, it might be a landscape job, or hiring your own digger and doing your uncle's driveway to have a crack. You learn pretty quick, and you'll actually get a shot.
Yeah, that is very, very well said, man. I really, really appreciate what you just said. Then that's everything to a T. Everything that I've said, and you've expanded on that. No, very, very, very good. So, very good advice there. So, if anyone is listening and they're considering getting in as an operator or even starting a business, this advice can go both ways. What Shane just said then is very, very good. Make sure that you take those points in. Very valid, man. Thank you for that.
No, appreciate it, mate.
Now, I've asked everything that I wanted to. Is there anything that you want to ask, or if any viewers want to ask Shane anything as well?
Is there anything I see Tyler's got on there, like, would you ever buy a second-hand machine with 600 hours, or prefer just to go brand new?
Yeah.
Purely budget, man. It's just purely what you think you can afford. I mean, straight up, I've got a brand new 5.5-ton excavator, and these are other things. Like no one talks numbers, no one talks rates, everyone's all secrets. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of my interaction is the younger people, because I'll openly talk anything on my socials through DMs and things like that. But yeah, I mean, if it's 600 hours and maybe has like a transferable warranty or something, for sure. Like, I heard a horror story of a guy who had a new 2.5-ton excavator and blew a motor. And because he wasn't getting services done through that particular establishment, no one took oil samples, and his warranty was void. He had to pay for a new motor. Yeah. So those are things that I was concerned about. You're saying thinking of buying a 2.5, 2.7 for his first machine. The weather, but whether bite the bullet or not. Well, I mean, no one can tell you whether you should go ahead with it, Tyler. It's more just what you think you can afford, and do you have any clients? Do you have any work lined up? Is there a company that you work for that you can then offer your services back to? You got to fill a need somewhere, I guess, or a niche. But I mean, 2.5-ton machine is a good machine. Get a lot of work, and don't be scared of small shit. Like, I've got friends that are 1.7-ton owners, and they're making just as much money as me. They own the digger outright. And they're charging $110 an hour on some tight access stuff. You got to find a niche.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a 1.7 with a hammer on the trailer and a little augers for it and stuff, and that was working all the time. And then when I didn't have it working, I'd have a lot of plumbers asking me if they could rent it.
Yeah,
So I used to dry hire it to a bunch of plumbers all the time. So that thing was doing really well. I'm spewing they got stolen, but that was
yeah,
doing really well when I had it.
awesome story.
Yeah, bloody hell. Uh,
Oh, so I got yeah,
um,
gotta get GPS.
that's
Like
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh mate, first job I ever left my digger on, I did not sleep a fucking wink. I was like, how would I know if it got taken?
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I've got GPS pretty damn quick. A lot of text message notifications and geotagging, good stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I remember when I first got it as well. The GPS used to just go off all the time, notifications and that. And
Yeah,
I used to hate it and then switch it off. And then I was like, oh no, wait, if I switch it off, what if that's when someone's taken it? So I'd put it back on. I used to hate it, and
yeah,
then it'd be ringing at 2 in the morning just because a bird was, oh, just for no reason. Like the cameras at
yeah.
my yard as well, they're constantly going off, even when birds come there. And I'm like,
Hectic.
I don't know. All right. Um, Look, I'm happy to wrap it up there. It's already, well, it's a 9:20. We've gone a bit over, but that's all right. That's good.
All
I
good.
really, really thank you for your input there, Shane. And I'm sorry for the short notice, but you've done really well, man, for such short notice. It's been a really, really good chat. And thank you so much for giving all these new people your advice and doing all this work, like putting on those live things. Keep doing them, man, because you'll see it during the day. Are you on TikTok as well, or just
No,
Instagram?
no, I haven't done like I just feel like for me TikTok would be such a hack. Like, you know, I don't know. I'm Instagram. It's my portfolio. That's my live work, showcase.
Yeah,
And I like. I think I should get onto it, but God, it's a lot of time. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
it is.
Um,
It
and
is. When
don't get sucked into scrolling everyone's shit because it
yeah,
just you lose your life in there.
you do.
But no,
But
I'm not on TikTok.
um,
But yeah,
it is. It's hard, man. Like I'm across all of them, and then if I want to do one post, then I've got to go and put it through Instagram, through all my different accounts. Then I've got to put it through TikTok and my different accounts, Facebook. It just takes so long trying to do one post sometimes. But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just trying to get exposure. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I do it purely to try and get clients,
yeah,
and I've all of my stuff's been word of mouth up until recent, where now I'm starting to reach out, and a lot of the reaching out I'm doing is to people I already have relationships with. But yeah, that's where I've gotten all my work up to date.
oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
If people want to contact Shane, you can obviously go to earthworkshub.com.au, look under
definitely.
the listings there. But other than that, what's the other way people can get in touch with you if they need you to come and do some work for them?
Yeah, so I've got a website, so it's terrapro.com.au. I've also Instagram, obviously at Terrapro Earthworks, and Facebook at Terrapro Earthworks. But yeah, you can find me on these channels, and
Nice.
definitely Earthworks Hub.
Yeah, that's it, man. That one, number
Yeah,
one. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. No, I appreciate you coming on, and yeah, I'm happy to speak to you during the week. If you ever need anything, just hit me up as well, man. Happy to help as much as I can.
yeah. No, I appreciate that, mate. I've been watching closely. I'm really thankful for you offering that kind of channel for people to share. It's about time our industry undoes the freaking bootstrings a bit and starts getting some new knowledge out there.
Yeah, that's it, man. And like I said, the point of it was to share people's stories and that, so everyone can see what other people are doing in different circumstances and that, because I'm sure a lot of people are going through the same things. And like you say, it's been very secretive till now.
Yeah,
Whereas it's like, just if we talk about it, then everyone will be like, oh shit, hang on, he's in the same boat as me. So
yeah,
it's just a bit more eye opening.
yeah. And you're
Mm.
not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah, and that's it.
It's
That's true.
there's people having good times, there's people having bad times. The whole comparing. I struggle with that. Like, oh, I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, yeah, but he's been doing it for 15 years and has like 100 clients.
Yeah,
Like, he's earned that shit. But it's nice knowing you're not alone and being able to learn some stuff at the same time.
that's it. Thank you very
All
much
right,
again,
mate.
man. And I'll post this up, so keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks, Ivan.
Take care.
Cheers, mate.
There you go, guys. That was a very successful live interview. So I didn't give him much notice, but Shane from Terrapro Earthworks did really, really well. Gave everybody some tips. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you enjoyed me doing that, I will do this more often. So, one, if you're happy to come on board as a guest on one of these live sessions like Shane just did, let me know. So just hit me up, whether you're on TikTok or Instagram, but I'm going to be mainly doing this on Instagram, so you have to have an Instagram account. Yeah, hit me up if you want to be a guest. If you really enjoy this, also let me know so I know whether to keep doing it or not. If you want to list your business, go to earthworkshub.com.au, or even if you need to find a business like someone like Shane, make sure you go on to earthworkshub.com.au. We are also selling merch. If you want to buy an Earthworks Hub t-shirt or a hoodie, make sure you go on to the earthworkshub.com.au site, click on shop, and it will take you to the store, and there's a whole range of colors and all sorts of stuff on there you can choose from. I think that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my topic for this evening, which was about giving you some tips on how to stop yourself from buying unnecessary things. My son actually came up with a really good quote that he read somewhere, and it says, "Comparison is the biggest thief of joy." So if you really think about that, don't compare yourself with other people, especially on social media. It's very easy to get tied up and get yourself down because you see other people looking like they're doing a lot better. But don't forget, you're at a different stage. You're running your own race. Try not to compare yourself to others. Easier said than done, but that's my advice to you. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I hope you all have a good work week. Go and get some rest. It's a bit late now. I will speak to you and see you all on the next episode. Thanks for listening.